a disaster of mammoth proportions, both for the New York Jets, especially their offense that is completely inept. And, and I know why it's inept. I know that the quarterback really is going to struggle, especially on the road against a good defensive team. You could say that the offensive coordinator struggled. You can blame the coaching staff. Look, they are starting from, zero. They are starting from day one all over again. And there are going to be significant growing pains. And people can, call up and they can be disgusted, and they should be.
Well, we don't have working phones, so you don't have to worry about that.
That's actually good if we don't have working phones. But, it's just they decided that they were going to hand this kid the team and say, you're our guy, and we're just going to fight through it. And I felt way back when, and I said this 1,000 times, that they should have somebody in there that can just take the reins if need be and just let them kind of give the kid a break, because right now he is overwhelmed. There is no question about it. And maybe Mike LaFleur is overwhelmed too. But it's the NFL. Nobody feels sorry for you. Every team is going to try to just absolutely hammer you. I don't know why Denver's throwing late in the fourth quarter the way that they did. And the fact that Rob Saleh hugged Vic Fangio after that game, I would have went over there and slugged him right in the jaw.
Right, exactly. Rob Saleh was also calling timeouts at the end of the game, too. None of that made any sense. Well, those two coaches were playing like it was a one-score game at the end of it.
I understand why Rob Saleh is doing that. Rob Saleh's got to do that because he can't go into the post-game press conference and say, well, we lost the game. I can't, I gotta. So he's thinking about, what he's got to say after the game.
Okay.
And he's got to say, hey, look, man, I got to play it all the way to the end, and I got to give my kid more chances, and I got to keep throwing with him and all this other stuff. I'm never going to wave the white flag. So I believe that's probably what he was doing. But on the other side, Vic Fangio's throwing, and I know why he's throwing, because look, their team is 3-0, and they've beaten 3 teams that have a combined record of 0-9.
Yeah, the Jets and Giants are right in there. Yep.
And the Jags. So they have an 0-9 record against the teams against the Denver Broncos. So he wants to get Teddy Bridgewater playing 4 full quarters, wants to get them ready for their tougher part of the schedule, which will begin next week. But it's not about the Broncos. It's about the Jets. It's about the Giants. And I have to say this yesterday about the Giants. I had a bunch of friends at the game, guys texting me before the game. The place was buzzing, and it was buzzing because they were going to obviously honor Eli Manning at halftime. They're going to retire his number.
Beautiful day.
It was going to be an unbelievable day. It was going to be an unbelievable day. It was a gorgeous day outside. I'm sure the tailgates were crazy over there, and nobody can let the air out of a tire faster than the New York Giants. I mean, they own the first half, by the way, and they only score 6 points. And by the time halftime comes around, they're down by 1 point. And I'm sitting there in the studio at CBS going, only the Giants can do this. Only the Giants can do this. And then as the game is wearing on, and by the way, both Phil, Coach, and actually Nate too, because we're all sitting there in a set, we're getting tired of me and getting sick of me saying, this is how this game's going to go. The Giants are going to get the lead. They're going to, the Falcons are going to get the ball back. They're going to tie the game. And then the Giants are going to go out and they're going to do something inept on offense. And then the Falcons are going to get the ball, go down and kick the game-winning field goal. And they're like, come on, you got to stop with the negativity and all this other stuff. I said,
yeah, like you do to me all the time. Stop with the negativity.
I know that, but I'm like, I know I've been hit over the idiots.
Hit over years and years and years.
Yes.
You know what's going to happen?
I've seen this narrative. Now here's the thing about the Giants, and here's the thing about every team in this league. The teams that win on a consistent basis are the teams that have a quarterback that can go out there and ignite their team and give their team the belief that they can win. You as a quarterback are defined by how many points you're scoring. You are the one that is generating, the excitement, making the plays on third down, making the plays on 4th and 1. And I know, you got guys dropping balls. You got guys, fumbling balls. You have guys tripping and falling when they have open green grass in front of them or green turf in front of them. But ultimately it comes back to you as the quarterback. You have to be the guy that is generating the energy. That's why they pay those guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers and Ben Roethlisberger. You have to be that guy. And Justin Herbert's quickly becoming that guy out in L.A. So is Matthew Stafford. Now all of a sudden he's on a good team, and you can see what his ability is doing for that team with a good, solid head coach. what is happening with the Giants, I had 10 texts after the game. Why can't we win? Why can't we win?
They don't know how to win.
Suck?
Yeah, they don't know how to win.
Why does my team suck? Why are we so flat? What is this? This is NFL football. Why can't we make great catches? Why can't we make great throws? Why can't we put up 35 points a game like every other freaking team in the league? Well, you don't have Kyler Murray. You don't have Justin Herbert. You don't have Josh Allen. You don't have Aaron Rodgers. You don't have...
Sure, but last week we saw from Daniel Jones everything we ever wanted to see.
It's got to be every week.
Yeah.
It's got to be every week, and it's relentless. The game is not easy. It's hard. It's anxiety-driven. There are a lot of times in games where there are going to be dips. There are going to be momentum shifts. And, I expect this stuff from Zach Wilson. I don't think the Jets really prepared themselves for just how bad this could be, just simply because this kid is probably really bright, probably has got a great A-type personality. He's probably great in meeting rooms on the practice field.
Yeah, but he's going through the Jets meat grinder just like everybody else, and who the hell knows if he'll make it out alive.
And to play 4 quarters of NFL football when the other team is trying to score against your team, which wasn't the case in the preseason.
Still getting pounded in the fourth quarter, Zach Wilson.
They're still getting, yes, I know.
It's ridiculous.
I understand that. But it is relentless. It just never ends. And the hardest thing for the rookies is now they got to get ready for another game. Now they got to look at this game. They got to try to somehow overcome the negative, I'm sure the emotional distress that he's going through without question. I don't care what anybody says. When this season's over, they'll go to him and they'll say, "So how do you feel now that the season's over?" He's going to go, "Relieved." I can't, this is like, he can't even see the end of the season right now.
Oh, yeah. He's probably thinking, maybe I'll just go back to Utah and hang out the rest of the year and hide, and my mom can make me the low-carb quesadillas that she is teaching everybody on her Instagram stories. And that's probably the way he feels.
That's a whole nother story, but I just, it's just, he is so far in over his head. It's not funny because I don't want him to get hurt. I want him to learn. I want him to sit. He needs a couple games just to sit on the sideline.
Oh, he can't. But at this point, it's like, how much worse can it get?
Yeah, but you don't understand what I'm saying. It's not about them winning or losing right now. I'm not saying change the quarterback so they go and win games.
No, I know that.
I'm saying he needs a break.
After 3 weeks?
After
3 games, he needs a break?
Look, we sit in the studio.
I know, but I'm just saying, there's so many other rookie quarterbacks who get the snot kicked out of them that don't sit down after 3 weeks.
I'm not saying sit down for the entire year, but they don't have an alternative. That's the point. There's not anybody on this team that can help him through this. So they're going to just keep force feeding him, and they're going to be, tough love, that kind of thing. And, you just hope he doesn't get broken. And I hope he doesn't get broken either. And I hope he doesn't physically get broken. That's the thing that I worry about.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because then that changes the entire course of his career. All right, I want to ask you about John Mara, because John Mara at halftime gets booed by the Giants fans because of how bad the team has been, and they were down at halftime. So during the Eli Manning presentation, he is getting booed. So he says to reporters, "I would boo too. We're 0-2 and we're down at half." And it's not even about this season. It's about what this team has been. And then after the game, apparently, as the game-winning field goal goes through the uprights, he kicks a couple of trash cans down to the ground. Previously, we heard from John Mara at the end of last season how he was sick of the losing. So you could kick the trash cans to the ground. You could get booed on your field. You could tell us how you're sick of the losing. You're 0-3 now. What do you do? What do you do to change it? Other than kicking a couple of garbage cans and telling us how angry you are and throwing a chair in the past, what are you actually going to do about it? This morning, are you going to make a change somewhere? Are you going to say at the end of the year that Dave Gettleman is stepping down? Are you going to do something about it? Or is it just going to be throwing chairs and kicking down trash cans? Because obviously what has gone on here is not working, and this was the year that they were supposed to go and compete for the division. Both you and I were duped by this horrible football team into thinking that they could actually win and win the division, and here they are at 0-3, and their schedule it's like boom, boom, boom. Their schedule hasn't even heated up yet. Rams, Chiefs, Buccaneers. Just get your ass kicked the rest of the year, why don't you? This team could be easily 3-14 by the end of the season. So what is going to happen? Like, enough of the nonsense that doesn't matter. Like, I don't care that he knocked over a couple trash cans. And put Dave Gettleman's face on one of those trash cans, and then maybe I could take you seriously.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you want him to do. He can't say anything but what he did say. You backed into a corner, and obviously everybody is so sensitive about reacting to the fans after what happened to Francisco Lindor and Javi Baez in New York. You'd have to be a moron not to know exactly what happened with those guys. So, they're asking about, being booed. They're asking Daniel Jones about Evan Ingram being booed yesterday, the team being booed off the field at halftime. Now all of a sudden all these questions are coming to these players. They're coming to the owner, and, they all have to handle them about as politically correct as you possibly can. Welcome to the world of Jim Dolan, John Mara, because that's where you are right now. You spent a lot of money. He has spent a ton of money trying to fix this thing, signing free agents. You look over the last 6 or 7 years and look at how much money they have spent. Look at how much money the Mets have spent. Just because you spend the money doesn't mean that it's going to, equate to wins, especially if there's injuries that are starting to mount up. And you lose 2 wide receivers yesterday in Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. Those are huge losses. Evan Ingram dropping balls, fumbling balls. I mean, one of the reasons why he has the ire, I should say, of the Giant fan is because of the mistakes that seem to follow him around everywhere he goes. He should be a better player than what he's showing. I mean, there are times where he looks like, he's unstoppable, but I don't put this on the Giants defense yesterday. I mean, they have 17 points to.
Yeah, but when the game was on the line, there was 2 times that they could have come up with a critical stop and didn't. So I know the team didn't score a lot of points, but they had an opportunity against. It's not the greatest Falcons offense in the history of the world. I mean, you got a washed up Matt Ryan, a bad football team. I mean, I'm putting it on everybody. There's nobody that comes out of that thing unscathed yesterday.
You know what? When I told you on Friday that I called down to do the Atlanta pregame or whatever they were doing down there.
92-9 the game. Yeah.
You got it. And I told
Dukes
them,
and Bell.
I said, when you look at your schedule, the Atlanta schedule, they can win their next 3 games because they'll have the better quarterback in all 3 games. And there's a chance that they can get their season back on track. So, the whole league is built to be around 500. There are going to be some also-rans, and unfortunately right now with 13 games to go, or 14 games to go, I should say. Think about that. They got 14 games to go, both teams.
Yeah, I know.
14 games.
It's criminal.
We're going to have to go through this for 14 more weeks.
Brian Costello, who I think still works for us in some capacity, tweeted out something in the second half of the Jet game that was along the lines of, stop doing this to yourself. Go outside, take a walk with your family, go play with your kids, drive around the neighborhood. I couldn't have agreed more. You're not going to be able, if you are a diehard Jet or Giant fan, you can't sit through these Sundays every single week and watch this slop. Well, I mean, it's a complete and utter waste of time.
At least the Giants are in games. I mean, the Jets are not even in games.
That's what we said last year about
their offense, the Jet offense, may be the most inept offense in the history of the NFL. That's where they're trending, just so you know that. And so, again, let's go back to the beginning of the season. Let's go back to what we were saying. We were saying, okay, we have a novice head coach, we have a novice offensive coordinator, and we have a novice defensive coordinator, and we have a rookie quarterback.
Yeah, it's still got to be better than this.
That is like,
score some points.
Hey, dude,
just score 6 points.
Even
7,
by accident, you would like to think that
10.
you'd be able to score something.
No, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with anything you said about the novice stuff and it was starting over. I never, ever, while you were saying that leading up to the season, disagreed with you. So I'm not expecting them to come out and beat every team they face and put up 40 points, but it's got to be better than this. I mean, they're outscored, 70-20? Or something like that in the first 3 games? It's got to be better than this.
It's about
by accident.
It's about as inept as it gets. So I'm trying to think. You remember when Kyle Shanahan first got out to San Francisco?
Yeah.
And he signed a 6-year deal. Like, it was the first kind of that deal. I'm not sure if he signed it before Gruden or he may have signed right after Gruden.
Yeah, they lost every game, but they were like fun to watch. I remember.
Okay, whatever. But I'm just telling you is that when you look back at where San Francisco was when they first got there, and it's just how bad it was. And then they finally made the trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. And then they had all those defensive linemen. They had all like the great, secondary and the linebackers. And they went all the way to the Super Bowl and they couldn't keep them all together. But maybe they'll make a run. I mean, they had a hell of a game last night against Green Bay, which they ultimately lost. But all I'm saying is that that's kind of where Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas are with the Jets right now. They are at square one. I mean, and I don't know what to tell you. They were a 10.5-point underdog going on the road to Denver. Nobody thought that they were going to win the game, but we'd at least think that they would have kept it within reason, simply because, I don't know, maybe by accident they would have scored a touchdown here or there, or an oh by the way touchdown in the fourth quarter. But boy, I'll tell you what, the quarterback is in way over his head.
Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit the red bell so you're notified when we have new content.